Welcome back, guys. It's been 24 hours since I flushed and bled the brake system on this 1952 Chevy 3100 half-ton advanced design Chevy truck. And what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna put the tires and wheels on. I wanna see how it looks with the new tires. Okay, here goes tire number one. And guys, these are rally wheels. They came off a Corvette, late 60s Corvette. And they're beautiful. Definitely one of the nicest wheels that Chevrolet ever made. Now, I'm not gonna lower the truck. I'm gonna leave it lifted, but I wanna go around and put all the wheels because I still have a lot of work to do underneath. But I just wanted to see how they look. Check it out. Yep, I'm definitely liking the new tires. New tires after 25 years. Nice. And obviously the wheels make it look special. Let's take a look from a distance. Yep. I mean, obviously the truck's gonna be lower once I let it down. I still have the 4 stands underneath. And I'm gonna leave it like that for a little bit until I'm done. But yeah, it's gonna have a nice lower stance once I'm done with it. All right, so now I'm gonna do wheel number 2. I'm done with all 4 wheels. I just need to put the ring, and I couldn't find torque specs for 1952 Chevy back in the day. Back in the 40s and 50s, they did not publish a torque specification. However, I was searching online and I found a group, a Tri-Fi group, and they suggested to torque them between 55 and 65, and I have, and to me, yep, I had 65. And what I do is I tighten them in a star pattern. For example, I'll start here, then I'll move to that one, and last this one. That's the star pattern. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put the ring, the last ring. Let me see if I can do this in one shot. And loosen the cap. There we go. All done. There we go, guys. All 4 wheels are on. The truck is looking awesome. These new tires are looking good. Now, when it comes to torque specs, specifically on this website, there were many different opinions as to how much you should torque your lug nuts. But I've always done it by hand, exactly like you saw just now. And it's been, what, over 40 years doing it that way. I've never had a wheel fall off, and I don't expect it to. Now, my next job is to take out the oil pan and either get a new one or fix it, because the bolt is stripped, as some of you know from last time. And I don't know if I'm going to do it today or next week, because it is spring and I have many projects in hand. And I was offered some free wood, but I had to go cut it. So I don't know, I may do it today, or at least record this over the course of the next week or week and a half until I'm done with this video. Okay, so for me, it may be a day, a week, but for you, it's only going to be a second. Okay, now back to the oil pan. As you know, the threads are stripped inside of this pan, and I need to take it out. Now, there are 3 ways to take this out. Obviously, first, you want to use your socket set and try to pull it out, but as you can see, it just goes in circles. Let me see, did I get lucky here? Nope. Now, the second way is to use a screwdriver and put some downward force into it as you use your socket to remove it. But in this case, there you go, it's working. I'm using downward pressure. So you see that, guys? I'm using downward pressure with the screwdriver, and that's a way to take it out. I'm going to show you a third way here in a second. It's coming out. Here it goes. There we go, brand new oil. Success. Now, guys, the third way will be to use vice grips. I've seen a couple of guys do this before, and someone suggested it on my channel on the last video. So what you do is, with the vice grips, you hold on to the bolt and you pull it down as you twist it around. Okay, that's the third way. But if you have a simple screwdriver and a socket set, that'll work as well, as you saw here in a second ago. And now the next thing I want to do is to take out this pan. And yeah, it's going to be super easy to do that here on this 1952 Chevy truck. There's nothing in the way of it. So I'm going to wait for that to drain completely, and then we're going to go to the next step. Okay, let's put this bolt back on. I'm ready to take out the pan. Yeah, it's very loose in there. Alright, guys, and for this job you're going to need a very long flathead screwdriver and a 1/2-inch socket. There should be 2 screws with a 1/2-inch socket at the end of the pan, and the rest you can take out with a flathead screwdriver. Yeah, this is kind of odd. They put screws in there with a flathead. See that? You can probably see it better here. See that? Yeah, these are tiny. And then let me take out the other one with the 1/2-inch socket. Yeah, it's loose already. They're not tight at all. Here's the other one. Slightly longer, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna go take out all the others and I'll be back with you in just a second. Okay guys, all the bolts and screws are out. I'm ready to pull it down. So I'm gonna use a screwdriver to pry down here from the corners. Yep. Oh, that was too easy. All right, and now I'm gonna go ahead and lower it. All right, there's something catching in the front. There we go. And that was too easy, guys. Easy to take out an oil pan from a 1952 pickup truck. And this is my first look ever underneath, inside the engine. So I'm gonna wait for the oil pump to drain all the oil before I remove completely the pan, which is right under it. When I have to get some gaskets right there, get the pan fixed somehow, and yeah, I'll be back with you in just a sec. All right, here it is, guys. So you have 4 of these bolts, 1 on each corner, like so. And then for the rest, you have these screws that you can take out with a flathead. You need a very long flathead screwdriver and a 1/2-inch socket. And as you can see right there, there's a lot of sludge here at the bottom. Let me show you. Yeah, it's pretty thick. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that out and get it repaired. Check that out. It is, guys. It's nice and clean now. Yep. Now remember, there was a lot of sludge in there, and the reason is these engines did not have an oil filter back in the day. Oil filters were an option. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find a fix for that. Then I'm going to sand it, paint it, get some new gaskets, and put it back on the vehicle. And yes, I do want to fix this, because getting a replacement for this type of oil pan has been very difficult. And the only thing that's wrong with it are the strip threads in there. And once I get it fixed, I'm gonna paint it, make it look nice again. So I've decided to clean the oil pan. And once it's clean, I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna start with this oven cleaner. And just let it soak for about 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes, and now it's time to wipe it down. I'm using a metal spatula, and some of these top layers are coming off easily. Now I'm using a wire brush to get all the corners and all the hard to reach places. didn't expect the oven cleaner to take out most of that paint, which it did. Check it out, that oven cleaner did a fantastic job. I did not expect it to take out all the paint. That and the wire brush, oh yeah, did an excellent job. So now I'm gonna wait for that to dry. I'm gonna sand it, clean it again, and prime it. Okay, so what now? I'm gonna sand it and then clean it one more time. It is best to use like a 180 or 200 grit sandpaper, but I'm using what I have. I did find a 220 disc, and I'm gonna use this later. I believe this is a 120. And now I'm going to use a 220 to finish it off. Okay, so I'm done with the sanding. Now I'm going to wipe it down with paint thinner. You can use acetone. Acetone is an excellent cleaning agent. Acetone does dry a little faster. Paint thinner, it's a little slower, but it's perfect for what I'm doing here. Yeah, make sure you get all that dust out. There we go, guys. Nice and clean. Now I'm gonna take this inside because it feels like it's about to rain out here. So I'm gonna paint it inside the garage. So wipe it down one last time before you prime and let it dry completely. Now you don't want to have any oils or dirt from your fingers, so I'm going to do this part last. There it is. I have cardboard underneath. I'm in the garage right now. I don't want to get any paint on the floor. All right, next step, prime. All right, so it's completely dry, and I'm gonna do two coats, two light coats of primer. And I wanna wait maybe a half hour between coats. That's coat number one. And guys, if you paint anything indoors, make sure you have good ventilation. In my case, I have the door open, garage, and my window. And also use this.
A mask. Luke, I am your father.
Yeah, You do not want to inhale any of these fumes. They're dangerous. Okay, now for coat number 2.
I did 3 light coats of primer. Now I'm gonna wait for it to dry. Then I'm gonna fix it and paint it.
All right, so it's been a few days and I decided how I'm gonna fix this oil pan. As you know, the threads inside are stripped. When I put my fingers in here, it's pretty smooth. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap it. And how am I gonna tap it? Well, first I have to drill a hole which is bigger than this. And I'm gonna use this 16.5 millimeter drill bit. And once I'm done with this, I'm gonna tap it with an 18 millimeter tap. And then I'm gonna use an 18 millimeter bolt, which is magnetic. And this is what's gonna go in there forever, I guess. See, it's magnetic. So it should catch any metal debris inside of the engine. Now, what gave me the idea to tap it? Well, I've had this tap and die set for about 30 years now. This is an old Sears tap and die. I probably only used it maybe once or twice. And look, it looks almost brand new. Most of this stuff has never been used. But I'm not gonna use any of them today. Like I mentioned a minute ago, I went out and bought a new tap because that's what I wanna use here, which is, by the way, it's slightly bigger than the hole that's in there now. So let's begin. So I'm gonna put a little oil in there. And make the hole bigger. Battery. I have 3 batteries and they're all pretty much dead. But I'm not gonna wait for my other battery to charge. I have a corded drill right here, which is even better. Yeah, it's nice having both battery and corded. There were a few nicks and burrs in here, so I just flattened it out so when the gasket goes in there onto the bolt, it has the right correct seal. So it feels nice and smooth now. All right, next step. Time for that tap. I can't use this handle because of the holes, they're too small. So I'm gonna have to use a vice grip. I'm gonna do it slowly. And it already gripped. You just have, if you do it, you just have to be careful. Take it slow. Use a little bit of oil. It may get tough at times. And there we go. It's nice and smooth again. Perfect. Now this is a fine thread. 1.5 means fine threads. If it was a 2.5, that will be a coarse thread. So make sure that your bolt has the exact same dimensions or measurements as your tap. Haha! Yep, there we go. I can see nice threads in there now. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and clean it and paint it. Yeah, it's magnetic, so it wants to stick. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna clean all the metal pieces all over and give it a nice little coat of paint. Yeah, but I should prime this, and I probably will. Coats of this paint, which is a Rust-Oleum engine enamel ceramic coating up to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. This says, the can in the back says that it dries to the touch in about 20 minutes and you can handle it after 1 hour. So I'm gonna give it 2 coats, 1 hour apart. I may give it 3, who knows? Now, anytime you use a spray paint indoors, make sure that your space is well ventilated and that you are using a mask.
Do a couple of light coats.
That's good enough for now. I'll be back in an hour and I'll do another coat. It's next morning, the paint is dry, and now I'm going to use a clear coat. Again, it's a high temperature clear coat for engines. And that's it, guys, I'm done. Okay guys, it's been a couple of days and look at this oil pan. It looks brand new. I'm happy with the results. So let's go back to tapping for a minute. You can certainly tap with a cordless drill, but in my case, my battery was not fully charged and I had to charge it and I didn't want to wait. So I used my corded drill, and that did the job. However, let's say you have a big hole, something that requires a little bit more power. In that case, you want to use something like this, a bigger drill, a more powerful drill that will certainly do the job. But in my case, the little one, it struggled a little bit there, about halfway, but it did okay. And if you have a drill press, that's even better. So let's go back to the pan. I'm gonna use the tap one more time to remove any paint that may be in the threads. And just a tip, guys, when you are tapping anything, make sure that you have a lubricating oil. I had this 3-in-1 multi-purpose oil, There are some special oils out there just for tapping. They call them cutting oils. Or you can even use motor oil if that's all you have. If you do tapping once or twice a year, don't go out and buy anything expensive. This regular oil will be fine. Or like I said a second ago, motor oil. So, and also, when you lubricate, make sure that you go 1 full turn and a half turn backwards. That way the metal shavings will fall inside of this flute. Sometimes as you're going around, you get into a hard spot. It doesn't want to go forward unless you put more force behind it. That you want to go back a half a turn. So keep that in mind. Lubricate, 1 full turn and a half a turn backwards, and the metal shavings will go inside of that flute. So I got an 18 millimeter tap, 1.5. So what does a 1.5 mean? The 1.5 means that there is 1.5 millimeter spacing between the top of each thread right there. Okay, and that means that it's a fine tap. Now if you get a 2.5, that means there's 2.5 millimeters of spacing between the top of each thread. Okay, so 2.5 means it's coarse, there's more space between the threads, and a 1.5 means that it's fine, it's less space between the threads. And that, the 1.5, I feel that it's better, the finer threads are better for this oil pan. Now because the head of this tap is so much wider, probably a ½ inch, I don't have a way to connect it to my T-handle. So I could have gotten another attachment, a bigger attachment, so this can fit. But if you don't have that, vice grip will be fine. And also, I got my magnetic plug. It's also 18 millimeters, and there's a 1.5 millimeter difference between each thread. So your tap has to be the same as your bolt. And if you are using smaller taps like this one, be careful, make sure they are well lubricated, because they have been known to break for many people. As you're putting pressure, usually the tip will break off. Now there are many different types of taps: spiral flute, spiral point, and straight flute. This one is a straight flute. Now let's talk a little bit about the spiral point. The spiral point tap will send the metal shavings down into the hole as you're cutting, okay? And the spiral flute will send all the metal shavings up the tap. So if you're working under a vehicle and you cannot take out the pan, obviously you want a spiral flute tap. So as you're underneath and you're cutting, you want the shavings to come out towards you, out away from the pan. You don't want the shavings to go into the pan. So again, the spiral flute is the one that you want. So if you have the pan out of the vehicle, in this case, it doesn't matter if you have spiral point or spiral flute. Now this is a straight flute. See that space in there between the threads? That means because it's straight, once it's cutting, the shavings will go up and down. It doesn't really matter in this case. This particular type of flute doesn't care where they go. Now there are also 3 types of taps. There's a taper, there's a plug, and there's a bottoming. Now that refers to the chamfer on the tip of each tap. So here I have a plug, meaning that there's about 4 or 5 threads before it goes to normal size. This right here is a taper. There's about 6 or 7 threads before it goes to normal. See that? I don't know if you can tell. That's a taper, that's a plug, and there is a third type. There is a bottoming tap, which the chamfer, it's only the first 1 to 2 threads. Okay, so I'm not going to install this pan in this video, and the reason is because I have a bunch of jobs. Today is Thursday, and I have to go and cut and split some wood today and tomorrow. Then this weekend I'm helping my daughter with a big project in her yard. So if I don't finish this video here, you're not going to see it till maybe another week. So I want to cut it here because I had to leave in like a half hour. I'm gonna finish this video here, and over the next 2 nights when I come back home, I'm gonna edit and it'll be ready for Saturday. So guys, don't forget to come back next week and I'll show you exactly how I install this pan for this 1952 Chevy truck. So with that, you have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are, and we'll see you mañana. Bye.
I am tired, but the show must go on.